So there are some rules to this poetry thing. And if I say something that you like, I need you to say Ashe. Say Ashe. And if I say something that you love, I need you to say speak D-Walk. Say speak D-Walk. Listen, if I say something that you don't believe or you think I'm lying, just do the same thing, because either way it don't matter to me, all right? Ashe, 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 Ashe. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Will you come with me? Nightly and every day I remember I have the grace to move the future forward, the future for us. Now, whether you think I'm on the right track or not, I am on the right train for sure, so come aboard. Gracious to the ancestors who worked before us, as we harvest what they labor for us, whether few or plenty, the choice is yours. Will you come with me? You see, the land is promised and the dream is free, but to develop that well, it comes with a fee. So let's build everything for us, by us. That's the only way we'll see your intention right now. It's giving everything it's supposed to give. No crabs in a barrel, because that's not a place we've ever lived. Now was the time, now was the moment. Now in this place I give my own atonement. Unity is opulence. Unity is free. Unity is us. Unity is you looking at me, watching this. Unity is we, unity is me, unity is black as we could be. Make your beliefs be life today, because anything less would be a lie to me. So I ask, will you come with me? The deeper the root, the sweeter the fruit. Past, present, future, nothing goes deeper than you. This moment is deeper than truth. Black soil on black soil, black song from black folk down deep on Elm. We the people of a freedman town, with a southern drawl is where deep Elm was found. Southern intellect, only Texas's first black architect could erect the monument that even his in-laws cannot forget. Well, I'm talking about the namesake of the black school in Dallas, Booker T. Washington. William Sidney Pittman designed this building just up the street on Elm. Listen, black history, your black presence, black future, and even black presence. Giving the gift that it's always gave. There's nothing deeper than Elm, just like there's nothing deeper than you. I need a finger snap on the 2 and the 4. For the 214, I need a finger snap on the 2 and the 4. For my city, it's the 214, The deeper the root, the sweeter the fruit. Nobody in this world goes deeper than you. The deeper the root, the sweeter the fruit. Nobody in this world goes deeper, deeper. The deeper the root, the sweeter the fruit. Nobody in this world goes deeper than you. The deeper the root, the sweeter the fruit. Nobody in this world goes deeper. Hey, I need a finger snap on the 2 and the 4 from my city. 214, I need a finger snap on the 2 and the 4. Dallas, Texas, it's the 214, I need a finger snap on the 2 and the 4 for the 214, I need a finger snap on the 2 and the 4 for the 214. IAmDWalk, poet from Oak Cliff, a Dallas poet laureate. That's what we do.
Welcome back to Black Art Matters. I'm Jory Jackson, and today we're joined by multidisciplinary artist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, Derrick IAmDWalk Walker. Thank you so much for being here, Derrick.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to just converse and have dialogue about art and
Absolutely. Things that matter. Thank you for joining us right here in sunny South Dallas, Oak Cliff native, neighbor.
That's my hood, as the song
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so just tell us your startup story. Like, tell us, your beginning of everything for you. You wear a lot of hats, so how did you get started?
Yeah, I like to say I'm in a lot of scenes. So starting was probably in the early 90s with a software called Harvard Draw, And my dad was a network engineer, so he had access to computers and technology probably earlier than my peers. And so I was able to kind of start exploring graphic design. From there, I had an opportunity to play drums at church. One day the drummer didn't show up, and I found the little cardboard pieces to the hangers and started playing until he got there. Well, that opened up an opportunity to start getting into music, and from there, and I didn't mention football, but I was involved in football as well because I think sports is art and performance. And then from there, started my own band, got into the marching band at the David W. Carter High School in Oak Cliff, went on to become part of the marching band at Arkansas Pine Bluff, and then from there, got into communication, broadcast journalism, and then theater. Theater is what really opened my mind and ideas to understand performance art in every situation. One of the things I say frequently is act one, scene one. Every day, every moment, every hour, every minute is a new scene, a new act to decide something differently. And that's kind of what's been the basis of what I've been immersed into as a performance artist.
So theater, would you say theater really pours into all of the other areas can you elaborate more on that and how you feel about theater? And
For sure. The aspect of theater that I really appreciate the most is the method and approach to focus on the magic if and the wonder of what could be based on what's presented. The setting or the situation, the lighting, all these other elements contribute to the opportunity to make a decision. Connected with that is where I learned about a well-made story, a well-made play, a great beginning, great middle, great end. Well, that's life. And having that understanding of art and performative art in the space of theater allows me to see that going to church on Sunday mornings was very much theatrical, as maybe as much or even more as something on Broadway. And so all the characters included the people on stage, but also because I was a drummer, I could perform. But also, if I'm the drummer, I'm looking at the audience and they become the entertainers for me, or they become the storytellers for me. And so gauging their response and watching their feedback allowed me to be really engaged in an immersive, performative experience similar to theater, but also very reflective of life, and just really reflecting on that in the early years of just church as a space for Black art, a Black collective, Black gathering to express whatever it is.
And so church, theater, the theatrics of it all, I mean, even from my own experience growing up in the church, I can definitely co-sign to that. I mean, there's a song called the Baptist Fashion Show and Passing Strings for a reason. It's perfect.
It's that. It's the red carpet. You know, the red carpet is, you know, in a Broadway show, it's everyone coming in, the actors and the stars and the talent, but also walking into church with the choir and the clapping in a particular way and dancing and moving is immersive theater. The show starts when it starts, and it never ends, or does it ever begin? And that becomes the idea is that is theater a space, or is theater the experience? And looking at how to utilize both of them is the intersection of where we get to create this newness, and I call it the intersection, this third space of expression, but also consumption.
Tell me about some of your influences growing up, artistic influences.
Oh man, I would have to say my first influences are the models who were in the home, and so my parents first, and then going into my aunts and uncles, and then my sister, and then cousins and all that. I mean, we all put on a show. I mean, I know you can recall when your parents had a late night, a hangout at your uncle's house or your aunt's house, and they said, "Come dance for me, come dance, and come do this thing that you do." That was the first time to put on a show, and being connected to performance and connected to just those types of things is really what is part of the culture. So for me, from a certain standpoint, as far as my grandmother was a burlesque dancer. She was born in 1914, right? And so understanding that she was an entertainer of sort, maybe the modern day Cardi B, some could say, knowing that existed gives me an understanding of, wow, entertainment and showmanship is significant. But my grandfather was also a very stylish man. I mean, he loved fashion, he loved cars. Well, that's costuming. Right? My grandfather on my dad's side was a pastor. And so being able to orate and write and speak to people and kind of speak to the spiritual aspects of them is part of how we expect and experience theater as well. It's sometimes what you don't see that you get to feel and experience with theater that is the most heightened part of it. And so from there to, I mean, even my sister, she was a majorette in band. I was a drum major in band. And so looking at all these experiences as opportunities for not just performance, but living, well, that's what acting is. It's real life. It's a given situation, and we get a chance to choose and decide how we want to engage with it.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about your organization, For the Culture?
Absolutely. For the Culture is an organization focused on economic opportunities and self-funding through entrepreneurship, through art, and through understanding and connecting communication. And so doing that allows for individuals and communities and institutions to be part of an infrastructure that not only advocates but supports and develops them and create programming. One of the things I love that I was able to do with Broadway Dallas was 45 students from 3 local high schools in South Dallas going to see Hamilton, right? But at the same time, we had a chance to have a breakout workshop before it happened with spoken word and showing them, hey, your words are art. Here's how we do spoken word. Here's how we kind of connect with it. Now here's another version of what you can see that could exist, but also even at the basis, your words, your ideas, your expressions are art. And being able to connect the dots from that standpoint and create, I mean, some would call this, giving back and things like that, but no, this is giving forward. This is not just some random students in a certain zip code being able to see and experience, Hamilton and the wind spear and that. Yes, that's fine, that's great. And you are art where you are. And so if you want to decide how you want to dress one day, that's storytelling. And so really connecting them with storytelling and not just seeing content as a commodity, but art as an expression.
Can you tell us about the whole experience for IAmDWalk, your spoken word album, which was up for Grammy consideration in 2023?
2023, yeah.
Tell us about IAmDWalk.
Oh man, IAmDWalk is, it's a character of sorts. It's just a derivative of who I am, just in the performance space. At one point within my profession, I was a club promoter. And that is an entire segment of business and entertainment that is fun, and this character kind of evolved because my friends would jokingly say, IAmDWalk.com, what's up IAmD? And so I was like, you know what? If they're giving me this feedback, let me see how I can embody it and embrace it. And it became something. And even to the point I realized that one of the first books I read was Malcolm X's autobiography. And it was connected to the movie that I watched in Redbird, near Redbird Mall in Oak Cliff. And we saw the movie, and at the end they would say, I am Malcolm X, I am Malcolm X, I am Malcolm X. And just the idea of the I am is an acronym for I affirm me. And so I am Malcolm X is just the embodiment of someone who had great discipline, who cherished family, and was really representative of community. And so all of that kind of connects to the IAmDWalk. Spoken word album is named Be Inspired Before Leaving Earth. And that is an embodiment of, the last album I made was 20 years ago. And if you're in art and theater in particular, sometimes it takes 20 years for an overnight success. And getting to the point of 20 years since I produced music and really worked on an album for myself personally, I put this one of my favorite albums. It's got all of my favorite genres on there, from jazz. Of course, it's centered around spoken word because I'm a musician and produce music for TV and film. It's got every aspect of what I would love, and it's really something I've never heard before. In a complete project. So having the opportunity to be considered for a Grammy the awards are great. And I didn't realize it created as much anxiety as it did. And it allows me to introduce something to my peers, because those are people I worked with. After living in LA for a bit, working in Hollywood, and the TV and film and entertainment, and being in the booth with some of your favorite singers, I learned and realized I've got to do something that I want to do something to share with my friends. And saying, hey, friend, I just want you to know, got this label deal. We're working with Empire Records, AMG, some of my label mates saying, hey, I got this project. What'd you think? And the feedback that they shared with me was just like, man, you've got something. Keep doing it, and we're looking forward to what's next.
Advice on working in the industry. Be it Dallas, LA, New York, international, what advice or words would you give somebody who's entering that space?
The most sound and reasonable advice is to understand your intention, recognize the instructions, and look for the inspiration. Maintaining an objectivity to do and focus on at the least two of those three is going to keep you in a position where you can not just win the game, but win the play. Also understand that the rules may change, and the rules may say one thing, but it might actually be something else is represented. Understanding that that can happen, and not being okay with just that as fact, but understanding that being okay with it, you can choose to be part of it or not. And subjecting yourself to abuse is not necessary at all. Yeah, that's enough.
I love that. No, perfect segue. So mental health, how do you make sure that that is something that's intact? How do you take care of yourself maneuvering, the industry and as an artist? Yeah,
the main thing for me is from a mental health, even emotional wellness standpoint, discipline is the key. It's personal discipline. What are you doing every day, and how are you intentionally doing that? Not just for the outcomes, but for the target, the objective. Once again, let's go back to the method acting and Stanislavski method acting. What's your objective? What is the objective, and what are the opportunities? And so, understanding to have the discipline within myself goes back for me to my eating. Is what I consume, and so what I eat, what I consume, what I watch, who I'm around, who's around me, just being aware of what's going on. And so that self-awareness is one of the key things that helps me. One is in expressing and communicating with myself. And honestly, once that happens, my communication and expression to everyone else is healthy, because I've filtered it through myself first, and then been able to share the seeds of opportunity and just my expression and my feelings with those who care about that and consider it.
So what's going on in your world right now? Like, what are you working on, or that you're able to talk about? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's funny you said the things I can talk about. There's a project coming out, and look for it, with the Boston Arts Academy. I got a chance to work with some students there, and really looking forward to just further the partnership and the relationship with Broadway Dallas, understanding that this is a major touring house, understanding the position of Broadway Dallas within the community and the opportunities. Big shouts out to you and the organization and the leadership for even seeing that these types of engagements and conversations are performance, are theater, and can live and exist to introduce and invite people to a space that they can experience art and expression. That's really what I'm really looking forward to. I'm doing a lot of work with the city of Dallas. I'm actually doing it, really not just all Dallas, municipalities. When I look at what drives communities and what drives business and what drives even cities, it's art, it's culture. Those are the two things that are the major significant attractions to a place like Dallas. To go to Deep Ellum and to know that I've written a spoken word piece that tells the history of 150 years, how it started off as a freedmen's town, right? But also connecting the dots when I did work in business with the Black Chamber of Commerce, that it was America's first Black Chamber of Commerce. That was in 1926. In 1920, the Tulsa riots happened, right, in Oklahoma. But then also understanding, out of the first 20 freedmen towns in Oklahoma, in America, 14 were in Oklahoma. And so understanding the richness of the history and proximity is really where I'm identifying the opportunity to use art as facts to create artifacts. And so that's kind of what's next for me, without going into too much detail. But be sure, my next album is coming out. It will be, I'm sure by the time this airs, it'll be out, but my next album will be out. It's named Brown in Words. And just really, it's a 2-album concept, and really something unique that I can appreciate. I'm actually in the midst of writing a play as well, so it'll be kind of connected to that. But just, I'm looking forward to having more fun and connecting and having a chance to perform and speak as often as possible.
I love it. So we're gonna get into like a rapid speed round.
Let's go.
Off the top of the dome.
We freestyle,
no pressure.
Right? No pressure?
No pressure.
I freestyle.
Okay.
There's no pressure.
Favorite album?
Off the Wall.
If you could just, I love it, Off the Wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
After Mine.
Favorite song on Off the Wall?
Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, you got me. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Rock with you. There we go. Yeah. Favorite album from Off the Wall is Rock With You.
Favorite musician?
Quincy Jones.
Favorite actor?
Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I feel like I want to go into more, but like with Jamie Foxx, yeah, Jamie, he's a Texas boy. He's you know, he sings, he's comedy, he's acting, he's writing, he's just, if there's a, this is rapid.
If you could have a meal with any black male figure, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
First person, my grandfather. Next is Malcolm X. Malcolm X because he had a vision, and I heard part of it, and I just want to confirm. There's some things I would like to confirm if I could, but I think that's the same with my grandfather. And so, even as Malcolm said, by any means necessary, I've extended it to be by every means available. Mm-hmm. And so, being able to connect with an originator of such a moving, inspiring, instructional phrase is kind of where I am. Is even why I made my album, kind of that album title, Be Inspired Before Leaving Earth. Mm-hmm. It's instructions, but also it's inspiration, and it's a poem.
What would your dream world look like for a Dallas theater art scene? Like, just progressive and growth, like what does that look like?
That's a great question, and I actually have an answer to it. It would look like basically the concept of like a cinema house, but 7 to 10 small black boxes that fit 50 to 75 people, and someone being able to come in and see and watch live performative art, whether it's just on screen, whether it's performative, whether it's music, and really using those as sound stages and production spaces to work that out. I think Dallas is the most significant place to do that between New York and Hollywood. I mean, LA. Dallas is center to the world. And so that's actually a concept I'm working on and in development with. I can kind of talk about a little bit, but that's what that would look like for me.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Derrick IAmDWalk Walker. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Black Art Matters.